Hello, welcome back to the Sarah Klenner Wellness YouTube channel and the Evolving Wellness podcast. Today, I wanted to share a live stream that I did with my friend Mateo over on Instagram, all about hydrogen. Now, this is a topic I've talked about many, many times. We just actually had a podcast about a week ago, I believe. And I get a lot of questions about how to know what machine is quality, not even the ones that we're talking about, how to test and make sure what you have is quality, why my family got into hydrogen in the first place, how we use hydrogen on a daily basis, how to keep the machines clean. I did have a small little crash out with someone in the comments about functional medicine, so I apologize for that. But I have timestamps down in the show notes. I try to get them as detailed as possible. So if there's a topic you want to jump to, then please feel free to do that. And the Black Friday sale for Axiom is ending tonight. So I apologize for doing 2 hydrogen podcasts in 1 week. I know that's a lot, but this is something that I think is a worthy investment when you're looking at something that's very low risk that can yield a very positive result. And I've seen it work with a lot of clients and myself as well. So lots of information here in the podcast. And if you're interested in taking advantage of that Black Friday deal, the link will be down in the show notes for you. It does expire tonight, which is Monday, December 1st at midnight. So check it out or just listen. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to talk all about hydrogen. Hopefully I can get Mateo on here. So if you guys have any hydrogen questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. The best machine for a couple, I would go with the 300. Quite honestly, Mateo may have a different opinion on that. But I have a family of 4. We're making water all the time. All of us use the inhalation. And the 600 is great because we can just spend half an hour on it and move on. With just 2 people, I'd go with the 300. What do you think, Mateo?
Well, I guess, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Hello to everyone. I would say, how much time can you guys dedicate to this therapy? It is simple. You just sit there while you watch a movie, you read a book. But with the 300, if you're going to be splitting it, we need even more than double the time than the 600, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say if you guys can dedicate a few hours a day with the 300, because you're going to be splitting it, it'll go 150 cc's per person. Then I would say dedicate a few hours a day if you can. And if that's realistic for your lifestyle, then that would be perfect. If you don't have all that time and you want faster results, a little stronger flow rate, the 600 gets split into 300 cc's. And so you can get pretty good results from an hour, 45 minutes to an hour doing that. So it depends on your time, your habits, and, financial capabilities.
Yeah. I mean, for us, the 600 was just what we ended up going with for my daughter because some days she just isn't going to sit, and I feel when she's done half hour, I feel really good about that because some days she'll do an hour, some days a half hour, and she's like, that's like pulling teeth to get her to stay on there. I've had to like put her back on the machine 4 or 5 times. So for her, it's like that was what we ended up going with because before, and people have asked me about the Holy Hydrogen machine because that was the machine we actually started with when I first bought a generator, and we saw results with it. I saw with her a dramatic change. That was the machine, and I can even talk a little bit about our hydrogen journey because even though I've talked about it a bunch of times, people still don't know the story of why I recommend it and why we got started with it. But we saw results with the Holy Hydrogen, but the flow rate on there is, I think it's a 120. I looked up their specs. And so again, I was forcing her to do 90 minutes at a time, sometimes more. So yeah. And then Wisdom of the Light wants to know, she's new here. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you here. The benefits of the machine, there's so many. The Axiom machines make water. Hydrogen water, which is hydrogen rich water. And then you can also inhale. There are probably over 2,000 studies now to show health benefits of hydrogen, both inhalation and drinking water. So I find the inhalation to be the most powerful thing for us because there are other ways of making hydrogen water. But for us, it's been the most groundbreaking thing that we've been able to do. And I'll talk about that. But Mateo, I don't know if you want to add to that at all.
Yeah, I mean, for the average person just looking to add another tool or part of their regimen, a daily routine, is it's going to help with, your overall energy, mitochondrial health, mental clarity, balance, optimize hormones, help with skin quality, skin hydration. It's just one of those foundational tools that will help to expedite any other therapies you're using as well. So
Hmm.
again, it's 100% natural, zero risk of toxicity or harm. There's been no studies showing secondary effects. So it just became a foundational tool for its high safety profile, and it actually works.
Hmm.
We're U.S. based company, it works, and you got nothing to lose really.
Yeah. Yeah, and just for anybody watching that doesn't know why I got into hydrogen, because I had somebody kind of like go off on me a little bit on my live stream yesterday and just say, oh, hydrogen's only for wealthy people. How would we get this in nature? We wouldn't get this in nature. And I'm like, well, actually, our bodies do make hydrogen, but we pretty much shut all that down from modern life, like completely shut it down. Our bodies are under a lot of assaults from the air, from our food, from modern stress, and so we're not living in the same environment that we were. We drive cars, right? Just even you can't get away from it. You're going to be in a car. You're going to be around electronics. You're going to be around these things that stress out your body. So, yeah, we probably wouldn't really need hydrogen therapy if we're looking at ancient times. No. And hydrogen's not just for wealthy people. You can start with tablets. But the reason why we got into hydrogen was my daughter was finally diagnosed after a long, long period of behavior mental health issues. She has non-speaking autism, and it was PANDAS. And I was like, I'm not, there's more. And we did spinal taps and found out she had autoimmune encephalitis, which I really would not wish on my worst enemy. It is a condition
Mhm.
that, I just saw a post on Facebook, because Facebook feeds me all kinds of stuff I don't want to see. But one of them
Mhm.
was a family talking about their child had essentially been killed by the mental health system because this child had autoimmune encephalitis. They found out after she passed in the autopsy that she had autoimmune encephalitis, and they loaded her with psych meds. And that's essentially what they wanted to do to my daughter, was load her with psych meds, institutionalize her, and it wasn't safe for her to be living here anymore. It was one of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life. And so I started researching hydrogen inhalation. It had been on my radar for a long time. And I said, you know what? Like, we're at the point where we're going to have to send her away because it's not safe for her to be here. She's as big as I am, is physically harmful, is terrifying. The doctors want to give her IVIG therapy, and our insurance won't pay for it. It's $40,000 per treatment. And yeah, the system is terrible for these poor children. They aren't getting the help that they need. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a generator and we're just going to try it. And it was crazy. I tell this story a lot, but we had been trying to get into one of the best mental hospitals in the country because, like I said, a lot of these hospitals, children die because of the mistreatment of these children with these mental health disorders and autoimmune
Mhm.
conditions that are misdiagnosed. They die because they're loaded with drugs. It's really, really tragic. But we had found a hospital that everyone said they will take her, keep her safe, get her stable. Um, we have to take her for 6 months. And she was accepted. We started the hydrogen therapy that Monday, and this hospital called us. They're in the northeast. They said she's accepted. We'll take her that Friday. And I realized at the end of that week, 5 days on the hydrogen inhalation, no violent behaviors, no aggressive behaviors, no dangerous behaviors. And I felt like I'm making a huge mistake by not sending her somewhere where she's going to be safe, but I really don't want to send my child away. And so I tell the story that hydrogen really saved her. We still do it. Like I said, we still do it daily. Everything's not perfect, but she has continued since the last 2 years to get better and better and better. We were able to have family over for Thanksgiving for the first time since we moved in here in 2022. I've always wanted to have
Wow.
my whole family over, but her behavior has been so violent and aggressive that it hasn't been safe for the little cousins to come. We had a house full of people on
Oh,
Thanksgiving. I just was like weeping at the end of the day. And I truly feel that a big part of that was the hydrogen inhalation and how it calmed that neuroinflammation. Um, and it's so for us, people will say, I can't afford it. I would start with tablets, but for us, it was like, I will do what I could have to do to get this for her. So yeah, that's our hydrogen story if anyone doesn't know it. Um, but it has been studied for brain inflammation, correct?
yeah, yeah. It's been there's I believe a few studies showing that it helps to reduce neuroinflammation, and it's very harmful for us. And
Mhm.
everyone has it on micro levels, but when it gets out of hand, that's when the symptoms develop to stronger issues and stronger issues. So again, that's why it's just really good for everyone,
Mhm.
healthy, unhealthy, young, old. The world we live in, this is unfortunately one of the tools we need. But myself, as a certified holistic nutritionist, I'm all for everything natural is possible, and this is
Mhm.
a natural molecule,
Mhm.
so it does
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, someone wants to know if this would help with ADHD. And just a caveat, none of this is medical advice. We're not treating any conditions or anything like that. We are just, in autism. Yeah, okay. Thank you for the unsolicited advice, but no thank you in the comments. If it's available, we've tried it, FYI. So I get people, do this detox, do this. It's parasites, it's this. No, no. Trust me, I am very well connected in the holistic world, very well connected. And a lot of these functional medicine practices, I just want to speak out against them because this is why I choose hydrogen. They can harm people. They can absolutely harm people. I know everyone's talking about ivermectin. It can damage your nerves. It can harm you. I know everyone loves it. There can be therapeutic reasons to use it, but it can be a nerve toxin, So the functional medicine world can be just as dangerous as the medical world. Some of these therapies are not safe, and this is why I have chosen hydrogen as our therapy. We do other things as well because there's no side effects to it. You can't overdose on it. It's very, very safe. And when you have a sensitive child, you know, you can't just throw them on these detoxes and all these like supplements. Like they will crash out. They will freaking crash out. So I get I get really triggered when people are like, "Oh, you need to do this medication, this supplement, this detox. Have you never heard of that? This diet?" I'm like, "Yeah, in fact, I have." I can't tell you that in a 5-minute conversation of all the things that we've tried to help her improve her quality of life. Um, so thanks, but no thanks. And
Yeah,
I'm not against using functional medicine and these other things at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying for these children, they're very sensitive. So you can't just throw stuff at them. It will come back to haunt you. It will.
yeah. I mean, hydrogen seems to be the last ditch effort, and then
Hmm.
ending up being the best option. So it should
Yeah.
be the first go to, and it ends up being the last one. Um, but yeah, that's we a lot of our people find us by they tried
Yeah.
everything. They saw, shamans, and they saw doctors,
Hmm.
and they went to the best hospitals. They did the steroids, antibiotics, the specialists around the world, and they said, I have nothing to lose now, let me try hydrogen. And it's the
Hmm.
one thing that is that secret key.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's what I like about it is that I feel good recommending it to people because it doesn't have side effects that you might see
Yeah.
with supplements. We're talking about the Axiom machine. So people are like, what hydrogen are you talking about? We're talking about Axiom. That's the brand that I've used. And you do want to use discretion with hydrogen water pitchers, different water bottles that are out there on the market, different generators that are out there on the market. And maybe Mateo, you can speak a little bit better to that. But in my research of looking at all the things on the market, this was really the best quality, the most therapeutic grade, and the safest. Um, you get what you pay for when it comes to this. So I don't recommend the really cheap bottles, but maybe you can talk about that a little bit more in depth, Mateo.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say is that there is what I like to call clean hydrogen and dirty hydrogen.
Hmm.
I don't even like just to throw around, oh, it's just hydrogen. So people go, oh, okay, hydrogen's hydrogen. Well, there are different forms of making hydrogen, and there's dirty hydrogen or toxic hydrogen, and there's clean hydrogen, and there's therapeutic level hydrogen. So it's not apples to apples, not at all. You do get what you pay for. I used to build machines for other companies. I used to do customer service for other companies. And what I realized is there was a huge gap between the production, the customer service, and the quality, and then the testing and the safety.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so just because you have a hydrogen tablet or a hydrogen water bottle, that doesn't mean that you're going to get the same results as what we do with Axiom H2. Axiom H2, we're working with institutions, universities, doctors' clinics around the world, hundreds of clinics around the world, stem cell clinics, neurological
Hmm.
clinics, anti-aging, professional sports, Olympic athletes, NFL, NBA. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And they're all choosing Axiom H2 because it's safe, it's quality, and it works.
Hmm.
And it harms the whole industry when a company releases a product to try to gain a market share, get some money when
Hmm.
they're not really specialized in hydrogen. They don't fully
Hmm.
understand it. I don't think it is a place coming from malintent. I think it's lack of knowledge. I have over 13 years in the industry. I built machines. I studied it. I studied and studied. So that's why we're at where we're at now. Unfortunately, the majority of the water bottles on the market alter the pH. They
Yeah.
highly alter the pH.
Hmm.
Um, There, you can speak on high alkaline water, does nothing
Hmm.
good for us. It's the
Hmm.
hydrogen in it. And so I've worked with clinics as a consultant as well. And the first thing I say is, oh, yeah, we have a hydrogen water bottle. I say, how are the results? They're like, I go, well, have you tested the parts per million in the bottle?
Right.
Oh, what's parts per million? Okay, so that's the first thing to check. So you need to know how strong or
Hmm.
saturated hydrogen does it make? What's the quantity of water? And then is it altering the pH of the water? What's your starting pH of the water? What's
Yes.
the ORP level, oxidation reduction potential? And Sarah, with our machines, we actually include a digital meter
Hester.
because we want you, the client, to be empowered so you can test our own devices to see, is it having hydrogen? Is it stable hydrogen? Is it altering the pH of the water?
Hmm.
So we just can't talk about, oh, I take hydrogen tablets, I have a hydrogen bottle. You need to understand what that bottle is actually doing. What form
Hmm.
of electrolysis is it using? Does it have a way to clean the proton exchange membrane? Is it using a proton exchange membrane? All these things is the exact reason I started Axiom H2, to protect you guys as the consumer. Because I was the gullible person just believing the beautiful websites, buying machine after machine after machine. And I realized that, wow, they're not created equal. And it's a shame that if someone could try hydrogen, it doesn't work. And then they
Hmm.
assume no hydrogen works.
Right.
And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I think the ORP meter is invaluable because I test my Axiom machine. I still test actually, a friend of mine is borrowing my Holy Hydrogen because it was just not being used at all. And they're having a Black Friday sale too. I think it ends today as well. But I have a friend of mine using it because it was just sitting there not really being used and it still works. But I would use my ORP meter to test again. You want to test the water. What is the alkalinity? What is the pH before it makes the hydrogen? What is the pH after it makes the hydrogen? Did it go up dramatically? Because that's not good. What is the parts per million hydrogen? What is the ORP? Um, what else am I missing? Those are the three main things I'm testing because a lot of people will think they're getting therapeutic hydrogen, and number one, they're getting this really high alkaline water, which is not safe to drink. That can damage internal organs. There have been some really interesting studies that show not a great idea to drink super high alkaline water. And that these machines say they're making hydrogen. After a few months, they're not. You're just getting this really high alkaline water. So That's really important. And then someone wants to know how long the water will stay, the gas will stay in the water. So when you're making hydrogen water, you are diffusing the water with gas, because everyone's like, oh, water has hydrogen in it. You're a snake oil salesman. No, it's hydrogen rich water. So you're infusing that water with extra gas. And so with the meter, I've tested the 600, which is what we have, and it still has about a 1.8 after 24 hours. It starts off at about a 2.0, and then it'll go down to 1.8, which above a 1.0 is therapeutic. And no, I'm not saying not to use the Holy Hydrogen machine. That one's still good. That one's still good. I've tested it. I've had that one for 2 years also. Tested it. Still makes good water, doesn't alter the pH. Just the flow rate on it is very low compared to a therapeutic flow rate that you can get with the Axiom machine. And you can make a heck of a lot more water with the Axiom machine. The Holy Hydrogen, you're just stuck with the little canister. With the Axiom, we wake up every day and I put 2 gallons of water and the diffuser, and then I'll test it when I'm done. It's usually at a 2.0, and that's the water we drink all day. So, yeah.
Yeah. One thing, you made great points. I just want to add that with the process we're using with the Axiom machine to infuse the water is one of the most stable forms of hydrogen-rich water. And as you stated, you can measure it after 24 hours. Majority of machines on there, you'll see after around 3 hours, it's all gone. If that long, maybe 6 hours at the max, and it's all gone. With the form we're using, taking gas, injecting it into water through our accessory, that creates a highly stable form where you can technically take that hydrogen-rich water in the canister and take it with you on your day, on your hike, to the school, to the gym, and still have therapeutic levels. So it's a great point when it comes to how stable is the hydrogen in the water. And all water, H2O, H2 is connected to O, so it's not available hydrogen. And when we inject it, it's making available hydrogen in the water, hydrogen-rich water.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Holy Hydrogen will keep the water in the glass for about 6 hours, and then it's gone. I've tested that multiple times. So we'll send a big water bottle with my daughter to school that's got minerals. And I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but I usually fill up the big Alive water jug. I really like that one because it does some natural structuring because of the geometric patterns. And it's right there, sunlight coming in. So it's doing some natural structuring. Fill that up with spring water. Put a little bit of Quinton minerals in there just because that's what I like. Diffuse it, and then we're good for the day. So I'll pour a big, water bottle for her. She takes it to school. My son takes it to his little nature school in his little water bottle. We all drink it throughout the day. As long as you just don't shake it up or heat it, the gas will stay in there. But you can, it's whether you want to, someone wants to know if they should structure it, it's up to you. I've tested it, stirring it with the analemma wand. It does not take the hydrogen out of there. It's just a gentle stir. Adding minerals after the fact does not take the hydrogen out of there. I've tested that as well because it's just a gentle little pour. I've done videos on all this on my YouTube channel, so you can kind of see like just how all this works. But yeah, you can structure it if you want to. You don't have to. Let's see. And well water is fine to use. So with the Axiom, what I really like is that you can use well water, spring water to diffuse. So, yeah. And then the Alive water jug, I have that linked in my holiday gift guide, which is in my bio with a discount code. Someone wants to know, does this work with deuterium? I'm not sure if I understand that question. It does naturally help your body to deplete deuterium because of what it does to the mitochondria. So I'm not sure about that question. Let's see, any other questions? Or Mateo, if you want to add anything, I'm just like rapid firing.
No, that's fine. Keep the questions coming, guys, and we'll, Sarah, you can just slowly go through each one. But about the deuterium depleted water, that would probably be the best option to use for
inside
infusion.
The machine.
Yeah, if you have a 0 TDS, which would be total dissolved solids, which is like distilled water, so there's no minerals in there. So if you have a DDW water, deuterium depleted water with 0 minerals, that would probably be the best, most premium fuel to run the machine. So there's water that runs the machine to create the gas, and then there's your drinking water that is separate from that. The depleted water would be excellent for drinking or running the machine. And as you stated, there are some studies showing that hydrogen therapy does help to deplete deuterium out of the body as well.
Yeah, I have not been on a keto diet. I have not been drinking deuterium depleted water, but my deuterium levels, I tested them. I need to do it again, but they were
Mm,
significantly lower than the level of the water that's coming out of the faucet here, which typically
wow.
people's deuterium levels are going to be equal to what the drinking water is if they're not doing keto,
Mm,
if they're
mm,
not trying to actively deplete deuterium, which I haven't been in a number of years. But my levels
mm-hmm,
were significantly lower than the drinking water. So, anecdote, right? But there are some studies,
mm-hmm.
and the Axiom is not going to purify your water. Um, as Mateo said, you want to have either distilled or deuterium depleted water that's like quadruple distilled in the machine, right, to run it. And then the diffuser, what you make to drink, you could do spring water, um, well water, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can use whatever kind of water that you want. So I was
Mm-hmm.
buying deuterium depleted water to go in my machine, and it just was so friggin' expensive that about
Yeah.
2 months ago, I just started using I have a distiller. So I just started using the water from the distiller because I'm like, I can't, this is so crazy. I'm spending too much money on this. So yeah, let's
Yeah, guys, and
see.
there's inside the machine. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you do try to put like your own at home distilled water or deuterium depleted water, there's sensors in there with a threshold of like 2. So it will pick up if the water's clean enough to run the machine or not. And the quality of our hydrogen has to do with the quality of the water we put inside the machine. So there are sensors to monitor the cleanliness of the water, hydrogen production, voltage, flow rate, pressure, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll let you know if something's not right. It will let you know, trust me. Um, we've had that with
Yeah,
our machine. It'll turn red and it'll be like, no, don't do that.
yeah.
So, and someone wants to know the most inexpensive option to get therapeutic hydrogen water. I mean, that would be the tablets would be the place to start, correct?
Yeah, I mean, our tablets, they don't dissolve in water. They're actually orally digested. But as far as my research, that is one of the most powerful, inexpensive ways. Absolutely, it works for sure. If you want something that's less expensive and something that also works, as well, we are working with a firm Stripe and Klarna and PayPal. So there are financing options as well if you want to take a step up to the super saturated rich hydrogen water bottle or even the inhalation machine.
Yeah. And we kind of answered this on the beginning of the stream, but someone wanted to know if they can only afford the 300, will it perform the same? And it's a great machine. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to sit on it longer because the flow rate is half as much as the 600, but it's still, again, double or more actually than the holy hydrogen. But you just have
Hmm.
to sit on it a little bit longer than you would a 600, but it's still a fantastic machine and does all the same things, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you can be sedentary during your day, if you're working at an office in front of a desk and you sit around for many hours, the 300 will work fine as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the best thing to do is if you're just relaxing, watching TV or working, just bring the machine, hook it up and just inhale. It's like you're not doing anything. My son, God bless. I don't know how I'm going to survive the toddler phase. Got through the baby phase. Now the toddler phase is here, and sleep has been really a challenge for him. He has just been challenging me. So at like 5 this morning, I finally gave up, and I just brought him downstairs, and I hooked the hydrogen up to myself, and I just sat there with him and just hung out. We just hung out, and it was fine. I sat there on the hydrogen for about an hour and a half. So I'm like, I'm sleep
Perfect.
deprived, but I'm not going to die today because I'm going to breathe some hydrogen. And that really helped a lot. And someone wants to know the name of the machine. If it's Axiom, and if you comment underneath this video or send me a DM with the letters H and the number 2, H2, I will send you the link to the Black Friday sale. My code SARAHK will give you the Black Friday savings. Instead of, yeah, my question is instead of purification or is it in addition to? So again, the machine's not going to do anything to purify your water. The bottle has some purification capabilities, correct?
Yeah, we have a separate, complete separate model that is a small travel size, super saturated, rich hydrogen water bottle that does come with an accessory to filter your water. But that's typically why you're traveling and you can't access filtered water. So we do have that option. But as far as the inhalations machines, our flagship models, they are not like a water ionizer. It's not like a Kangen. It's not like anything to filter water, has nothing to do with that.
Mm-mm.
This is 100% designed. The principal purpose is to create medical grade clean hydrogen gas that's very simple to use, simple
Mm-hmm.
to maintain, simple to operate, so very user friendly.
Yeah. And then someone wants to know, how often do you need to refill or top off the water reservoir? It just depends on how often you use the machine. So for us, we're daily users. I'm using it probably an hour. My daughter probably uses it 30 minutes to an hour. We're making water. My husband uses it. So we probably have to top off that reservoir like once a week. Um, Sometimes it's every 2 weeks, but yeah, it's not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
It's maybe once every week, week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks. So it's not a constant thing you need to be worried about. But again, when you're using deuterium depleted water, that stuff's like $500 a case. You just, at a certain point, you're like, you know what? I have a good distiller. I'm going to use
Yeah.
that. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, for 1 to 2 people to use it daily for 30 minutes to 2.5 hours, I say when you first get your machine, go to your nearest Walgreens or
Yeah.
farm
Yeah.
or pharmacy. You get 2 to 3 gallons of distilled water, and it will probably run the machine in 3 months to 6 months, depending on how
Yeah.
much you use it. So once you have the device, it's very, very inexpensive to operate. We don't have a lot of
Mm-mm.
reusables, like you have to buy a new thing every month or something like that. Not at all.
Right. And I do have a UV sterilizer that I'll sterilize because we each
Mm.
have our own cannula. But I
Right.
will sterilize those tubes, and the tubes that come off the machine, I'll do those like, every time we use a cannula, it's easy to just stick it in the UV sterilizer. Same thing with those tubes. And that's in my holiday gift guide and the Amazon links. So that can be something helpful to have. It's not that expensive at all. And then someone says, do you need to be careful with the water you use with hydrogen? Maybe if I use the tablets that you swallow, no need to worry.
I mean, again, with our technology, it's impossible for the water to harm you inside the machine because we have all of our sensors. There
Hmm.
are other machines that it can make hydrogen with any water, and
Yeah.
that means you're going to be releasing oxides.
Yeah.
And so I don't, I would say be cautious with those other ones. With Axiom H2, it's not apples to apples with other types. It's class levels above, far above. So, and our tablets are not water dissolved.
Mm-mm.
They're orally digested. They have different formula, complete different process. So also very different from every other tablet on the market.
Someone wants to know, how long should I do inhalation with the 300? Like, so if it's just one person doing inhalation, would you say an hour probably?
Yeah, ideally an hour, but we have seen measurable results with our HRV diagnostics device in 30 minutes.
Hmm.
So, it does depend. If you throw in a cannula and you're sitting there, talking to someone, you're not really breathing
Breathing.
it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but if you have a dedicated 30 minutes minimum and you're doing some conscious breath, slow, deep breathing, that will saturate your blood and give you those results. But ideally, at the 300 an hour would be even more ideal to make sure you're getting those results that you want to get.
Yeah. And Sue wants to know, will it help to detox mold? I have SIRS. So again, we're not going to make any medical promises, but one of the things that we did find out for my daughter with autoimmune encephalitis is that it was triggered by mold in her school. And again, we did like $7,000 worth of functional medicine, all the testing, the vibrant labs. I mean, just like the urine, just all the freaking tests. And she had high levels of mold. And so, uh, the mold detoxing and the shoemaker just made her so sick, and was a freaking
Hmm.
disaster. So she had blood markers for SIRS as well. And again, this was in 5 days. I was seeing major results. And I've had a lot of clients as well who've, again, used it for SIRS, for mold. People in my private membership group have seen a lot of positive results. Again, not medical advice. And, just speaking experience, Mateo, have you had testimonials from this condition?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we even on our Axiom H2 Instagram, we
Mm,
do have some of those video testimonials of improving mold toxicity. And so I don't know in the studies if hydrogen directly attacks the mold in the body, but what I do see is that it optimizes and regulates your immune system to be able to handle and attack the mold naturally it's
yeah,
designed to do. So we have seen anecdotally great results with that.
yeah. You know what? My theory, and I've talked to some other experts in the field, is that it helps to increase exclusion zone water in the
Hmm.
in the body. And what exclusion zone water does by default is excludes things. So it's a very gentle way that your body gets rid of things and pushes it out. It's kind of the natural way that we were supposed to do it to begin with. Before we deprived ourselves of sunlight and grounding and infrared and all the things that our body has the capability to do. Modern world kind of steals it from us. But one of the things that I think hydrogen does is this increases this exclusion zone water to push things out a little bit more gently. Let's see. Can I diffuse hydrogen into water with the 300 model also? Oh yeah, definitely. Let's see. More questions. And you're welcome to
Yeah,
interject
guys,
anything.
I wanted to mention the 300 model and the 600 model are complete kits. So you get your medical grade cannulas, you get the accessory to infuse water, you get the goggles, the earphones. They all come with a bottle of tablets, a little accessory bag. So we kind of try to cover all the bases with both models. So you guys have everything you need for success. The only thing you need is that distilled water and you're
Hmm.
ready to go.
Yeah. Tablets, Carol, the tablets are with Axiom. So if you want the link to the tablets, just you got to type underneath this video H2 and I'll send you the link over, or my auto software should. Does it keep you awake if you inhale at night? For me, it helps me fall asleep. My husband actually falls asleep with it
Hmm.
on, but there are actually
Hmm.
studies in the literature that I've pulled. So you can go to PubMed. Anybody can do this. I'll tell anyone, I'm like, if you want to know more about this, go to PubMed, type in hydrogen inhalation therapy and XYZ, or hydrogen water and XYZ. I've recently found stuff for stroke recovery. I found stuff for Parkinson's. I've even found things for ALS because people are asking me about all these really super specific medical conditions. The literature is there, but there's some really interesting literature about inhalation and turning on parasympathetic nervous system. And I like that's my thing. I do when the kids are finally in bed. I will sit, on my little on the couch, like quiet inhalation. I don't want to get up, but that's what I do before bed every night, and it's very, very relaxing. Let's see if
Yeah,
there's
and
any. Oh, go ahead.
I did a post recently. I believe it's on the Axiom H2 Instagram as well. It's an HRV study, but through the slides, it talks about how we can see scientifically that it does activate that parasympathetic nervous system
Hmm.
and it gets us out of fight or flight mode. When we're in fight or flight, that means there is this underlying tension and striction in the body. And when we can activate this other side of the autonomic nervous system, that is. And so it's super important for us to get out of fight or to rest and relax.
Yeah.
So hydrogen absolutely does that, and we see it. We have white papers on it. We just posted an HRV study with it, and so it will help you sleep. And we've actually sold machines on demos because people tried a machine for 15, 30 minutes at a show.
Hmm.
The next day they came back, they said, look, I don't know if this was a fluke. I got the best sleep and I've had in 15, 20 years. And
Yep.
then with their wearables, their Whoop bands, their Apple Watches, they're like, wow, I have the best scores I've seen in years. So, I mean, the data's there. And like you said, Sarah, uh, you know, don't kill the messenger. Just Google molecular hydrogen inhalation and whatever issue you have. And if you don't see a study on your exact issue, we'll just know there's 2,000 studies supporting all the other issues in the body. And so typically in one way or another, there's a domino effect that will end up helping that condition.
Yeah. Well, what it does that I think a lot of people don't understand is that it works in the mitochondria selectively. So most health conditions, issues come down to the health of the mitochondria, right? Of how well we're able to make energy in the body. And that's a very oversimplified explanation, but we have mitochondria all over the body. And when those are not working appropriately, when there's too much inflammation in the mitochondria, you can't make energy, you start to see systems failing. Could be whatever issue that you're having, there's mitochondrial issue at play. And so what hydrogen does is it goes in there selectively because we do need some inflammation. Not all inflammation is bad. So those reactive oxygen species, some of them are signaling molecules that your body needs, which can be the issue with high dose antioxidant therapy because you're going to get rid of, some of those good signaling molecules if you're just killing yourself. High dosing antioxidants, there's some literature to show that it can be negative to a point. But what hydrogen does is it leaves the ones that we need and it gets rid of the ones that are causing the issue. So it's selectively working on the mitochondria in that way. So it's a very smart little molecule that does this. So again, yeah, go search your condition in PubMed, but know that it's working directly on the mitochondria. Let's see. And before your first use, I think Mateo answered that one. Just get some distilled water. You don't really need to do anything special. Yeah, this is interesting. I've gotten this one before, and I think you could probably answer it better than me, Mateo. Can you breathe hydrogen and do an ozone IV at the same time? I'm assuming not, because one is oxidative and one is an antioxidant.
Yeah, there's not any hard studies behind that.
Yeah.
I did work with ozone for many years before I jumped over to hydrogen. But what I would do is probably hydrogen therapy before ozone to kind of prep the body. Hit your ozone because the ozone is a very controlled, extremely oxidative therapy, and then wait a few hours and then do hydrogen after, just so they're not neutralizing or canceling out. Even though it's a selective oxidant, I wouldn't necessarily stack those together. Other, vitamin drips, they seem to stack really well together. Ozone being extremely oxidative, I would let it play its course, run its course, and then hit it with the hydrogen later.
Yeah. And I think it could be helpful later because of what hydrogen does to glutathione. It actually can increase your glutathione levels. So anytime I've done ozone is like, I've just kind of really felt terrible unless I've dosed myself with a lot of glutathione, which not everybody can do. That's not a good idea for everyone. My genetics are okay with that, but I would think it could be helpful after you've given it some time because it increases your own glutathione production. There is research to show that.
Yeah.
And then how long does it take to infuse the water? Now, I just leave mine on a 30-minute cycle, but I probably don't need to do that. Mateo, what's the scientific answer for this one?
Yeah, I mean, we like to keep it very simple for everyone. Of course, we can get, very detailed and scientific, and it just overcomplicates things. So just put it on 30 minutes. It'll do it. You can't oversaturate it, but if you do want to know precise numbers, for example, like the 300 machine, you can infuse a liter water. It's about 6 minutes. The 600 machine's like 4 minutes for a liter of water. So it actually infuses it really quickly. It's okay if you run it for 30 minutes. It's not going to do any harm to it. A gallon of water, we normally recommend around 10 minutes. And these are that moment of peak saturation happens at that time. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question there. I've done a 5-gallon drum that got fully saturated in about 35 minutes, of 35 to 40 minutes. We have people saturating their bathtubs. And, we just actually we're releasing a jacuzzi model, excuse me, where we have indoor, outdoor jacuzzis. built in the United States using the Axiom machines in there at our higher flow rate. So, and we have the white papers on that. So that does wonders as well.
Oh yeah, there's some really interesting research on hydrogen baths. So I'm gonna be
Yeah.
first in line for one of those.
Yeah.
Um,
We got to get you one.
yeah, yeah. We do a 2 gallon every morning, and I just, like I said, I put it on 30 minutes, set it, forget it, walk away,
Yeah.
and it doesn't use too much of the water inside the machine. It's like I said, I only have to replace it every week, every couple weeks. I really don't even keep track. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, it needs water, but it doesn't really feel like it's that often that I have to do it. And then the way I clean our cannulas in between uses, so you can buy extra little blue thingies to go on the cannula. If you are like a chiropractic office and you want to have multiple patients using them, you can buy those, like 20 in a pack, I think. I buy them because my
Yeah.
daughter sometimes will just like bite them and break. She's like, I don't want to do this today. I'm just going to bite it in half. So
Yeah.
those are the days where I'm like, if she doesn't want to do this, so we'll just do 30 minutes and you're done. But you can buy those in a 20 pack. And what we'll typically do, I don't know if this is up to Axiom standards, but I have
Hmm.
hypochlorous acid skin spray that's like a lower ppm that still
Uh-huh.
does a great job of disinfecting. And I will just spray the little nasal piece and then put it into the UV sterilizer for 15 minutes after each use. And that's just
Nice.
what I do for each of us. I don't know that I even need to do that because we're not trading cannulas, but I just like to do that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that, Mateo, or what your
Yeah.
standard is for cleaning the cannulas or sharing them.
Yeah, there's two models. It's either you have a designated cannula per person, and each
Hmm.
client, every time Sarah comes into the clinic, Sarah gets her same cannula. Because these are not one and done cheap cannulas. You throw them out. They're
Mm-mm.
actually super high quality, very nice, meant to be reused and reused. We normally will soak them, the blue nose piece, in an alcohol solution
Mm-hmm.
to keep it sanitized. So there's different clinics have different ways. They either soak them in alcohol and then rinse them with water, dry them out, and reuse them, or they just sell each cannula to each person. I love the UV box that you're using. I think that's an even more advanced way just to stay, proactive and preventive.
Yeah, with all the sinus stuff and all this stuff with my daughter, she's doing so
Mm-hmm.
good that I just try to stay on top of it. Let's see. Does one have to inhale hydrogen or could it be enough to just drink the hydrogen water? I mean, like we've said, and I'll let Mateo weigh in, there are different benefits for each. So I have personally experienced more benefits with inhalation than with just drinking the water. The brain inflammation, the metabolic benefits, the parasympathetic, that's inhalation. The brain inflammation, that's inhalation. But there are gut health benefits. There's a lot of benefits to water as well. So that's one of those you kind of want to look at what are your goals and go to your PubMed, hydrogen, water, and XYZ, hydrogen inhalation and XYZ, and see what the data says. But what do you have to add to that, Mateo?
Yeah, I mean, both forms make it to all your cells, but we
Mm-hmm.
definitely see a pretty significant difference between hydrogen-rich water working more for gut health or internal organs, especially the liver. The liver holds
Mm-hmm.
the highest amount of hydrogen in the body. So we see, great repair with fatty liver and other liver issues with the hydrogen-rich water if you would
Mm.
have to choose one or the other, where the inhalation does just phenomenal wonders for anything respiratory, lung
Mm-hmm.
issues, and cerebral neurological disorders. Inhalation seems to react faster with cellular health, muscle
Mm-hmm.
tissue, brain, and heart and lungs. The good thing is with our 300 and 600, you can do water and or inhalation. You can do it both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I like the generators. They are more of an investment, but you're really going to get the most bang for your buck with those. Amazing. I think we've gotten through all of the questions. How long is this? Because I'm so bad at Remembering dates, are we good through tonight for the sale that you guys are doing, or is that going on a little bit longer than tonight?
Um, I have to double check with the marketing team, with Ivana and everyone. They kind of structure that, and I'm just behind them, backing them. So
Yeah.
we will need to double check the dates. It might be on our website.
Yeah,
I
it probably is
apologize
on
for
the
that, guys.
website. Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was through tonight, but I wasn't sure. So I was like, let me just ask Mateo. But if you're interested, just comment the word H2, or you can send me a DM that says H2, and it'll automatically send you the link. Someone wants to know how long they can expect the machine to last and if there's a warranty.
Sure. So the engine or the motor we have inside there runs for 8,000 hours. You can do the math if you plan to use it 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, times 365 days. We're looking at like anywhere from 4 to 6 years, sometimes even longer. Um, we are, for all the machines purchased this year, we've changed our warranty. And so this is a great time to talk about this, to a 5-year warranty,
Mm,
just because we've had such a solid design, and we're on our 4.0 machine. So we've made little tweaks and improvements. So we really stand behind the engineering behind the machine. That's why we can offer 5-year warranty. If you guys did purchase before 2025 and anything goes wrong, just let us know. We're more than happy to help you guys out. Just,
yeah.
obviously send us an issue or the email with your issue at support@axiomh2.com. We're super flexible. We're not a giant corporation under these
Mm,
strict rules. I mean, it's a small, tight ship, and we're all humans, and we really care about you guys. So we're more than willing to a lot of times bend the rules and
mm-hmm.
change our policies just to make you guys happy.
Yeah, and I can definitely vouch for that. That's why I send so many clients to you. And, just as doing what I do, a lot of brands approach me, a lot of companies want to work with me, and I've unfortunately had to let go of some relationships this year due to really poor customer service and having my inbox full of complaints. And that's number one. I feel terrible to recommend something where there's bad customer service, because it's like I put my name on this, and it's important to me, if I'm going to recommend something to someone and they trust me enough to make an investment, and then they get treated poorly by this company, that makes me angry, like really
Yeah.
angry. And so with something like this, I feel super good about the customer service and what happens after the sale, because I've had people come to me and say I had XYZ issue and they replaced the whole machine. I don't know if you want me to say that on camera, but
No, that's fine. I
you
mean, when you do as much volume as sales we do in 20 different countries, little issues happen sometimes
they
during
do.
shipping. Sometimes, who knows what could happen. All the
Mhm.
machines get tested before we ship them out.
Mhm.
We have a team in Europe, and we have a team in the States, and we have a team in Central America too. So we are expanding all over, and we just try to provide you guys with the best customer service there is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really appreciate that, because I've had people really just reach out to me personally and say I was totally freaked out because I spent all this money on the machine. I had this issue, but they got back to me quickly and replaced the whole thing. So thank you.
Yeah.
And that's important to me when I recommend something. So, uh, yeah, I appreciate everything you guys do. Do you ship to Finland?
Um, I believe so. Europe seems to be pretty dialed in now because we have a new warehouse with our research and development firm out of Croatia. So we have
Mm,
another warehouse there shipping into Europe. Most of those issues are getting through. If you do want to buy, try to do it on the website and see if Finland is available. And if it works and you see it highlighted as an option, it'll work. And if not, just send us an email at support@axiomh2.com. We'll double check it. We would need like the exact address, and we can run a mock scenario, what it looks like to get it over there. I think it should be okay to ship there though.
What about Australia? I get that question a lot. Yeah, I
Yes,
thought
yep.
I
We
thought
ship
so.
to Australia as well as New Zealand. We have machines out there as well.
Nice. Okay. I get that question a lot. Usually at the end of the
Hmm.
day or the beginning of the day, that's when the
Yeah, right.
that's when the Australians are messaging me like, "Can I get this here?"
Yeah.
So awesome. And then someone wanted to know, is the sale on the 300 or the 600? It's on both and tablets, correct? And the
Yeah, I
bottle,
believe the bottle, and I think we have a whole kit too.
like a
Like you can
package.
get tablets, the bottle, a machine, for an even bigger discount. So everything is discounted. And, you guys have any questions, just let us know.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Mateo. I think this has been great, and
Yeah.
I'm going to post this on my YouTube as well for easier watching. Sometimes it can be cumbersome to watch stuff on
Yeah.
Instagram. So if you want to go to subscribe on my YouTube channel, this will be up probably later this afternoon. If you want to go back and watch the replay, and I'll put timestamps and all that good stuff under there as well. But yeah, you can always reach out to Axiom if you have questions before the sale, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We truly, truly pride ourselves in customer service. We're all educated in molecular hydrogen. We studied it. Um, we're all passionate about it. No one in my brand is just doing this for a payday. We're all super passionate about it because hydrogen has changed our lives in one way or another. I was a consumer of hydrogen many years ago, buying different machines and products, and I got to feel what it felt like to say, "Oh, you fell out of warranty. Sorry." Or
Mm-hmm.
just no response, or
Mm-hmm.
I've had it all happen to me, and that's part of that frustration that drove me to create Axiom H2 to provide you guys with everything that I felt like what was missing.
Yeah.
So you know support at axiomh2.com. You can send us a DM. Partnerships, if you're a clinic and you're looking for a more commercial unit or diagnostic technology, you can email partnership at axiomh2.com. And big thank you to Sarah for being such an advocate of this and helping spread more awareness and the real education behind it. Like, we're one of those brands and people that are actually talking about the ORP levels, the
Yeah.
pH level.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to
No
share
smoke
with
and
you guys.
mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be transparent, and so you guys have the knowledge to make your own best decisions. What
Mm-hmm.
brand fits right for you, and hopefully it's us. It's us. So
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you, Mateo. That was awesome. And like I said, I'll get this posted on my YouTube channel, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week and happy
You too.
holidays. And thank you to everyone else who joined.
Bye.
All right, bye bye.